Doug Polk, can't talk today. Doug Polk played this hand pretty close to perfectly. Doug Polk played this hand pretty close to perfectly. That's a tongue twister. Can anyone actually say that? Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Little for PokerCoaching.com, here today with another hand from the High Stakes Feud between Doug Polk and Daniel Negreanu. Here, Negreanu wakes up with the pocket fours, and he makes it $1,000, and Doug Polk 3-bets with the sevens. If you are not 100% sure that you need to be 3-betting with this hand, I have a quiz for you. It's very, very important to make sure you play well before the flop. And if you do not re-raise, if you don't 3-bet nearly often enough, that's going to allow your opponents to see lots of flops that they otherwise should not. So take the quiz to make sure you are playing well right now at pokercoaching.com/3betquiz. The number 3, BETQUIZ. If you get a perfect score on that, you're probably 3-betting appropriately. And if you don't, you're probably either being a little bit too tight or a little bit too crazy, and it turns out if you play poorly and your opponents play well, they're going to crush you. Back around to Negreanu, he has an easy call with the pocket fours. Flop comes 7. No, not 7. Flop comes 5-3-2. Doug Polk, continuation bets using a 2/3 pot size bet. Interesting size from Doug Polk here. Let's take a look at what the GTO strategy is. It turns out this is a board that gets bet very frequently. Why? Because Doug Polk has lots of strong hands, and all of his bluffs, like Jack 9 suited, right, has plenty of equity, even if he is against a pair. Also has a lot of these aces that have very good equity too. So this is a spot where Doug Polk gets to bet very frequently. Also, this board should not connect especially well with Negreanu, so Doug Polk gets to bet very frequently. And he is using a rather large size most of the time, and you see the hands that really favor the large bet size are the hands that are almost certainly best at the moment, but are very susceptible to being outdrawn, like 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, right? Whereas we see hands like pocket aces often uses the smaller 25% bet size. Also, some of these very low equity bluffs are opting to bluff using a big size, right? Whereas we see some of the higher equity bluffs, like ace-king, ace-jack suited, ace-10 suited. These are using the smaller bet size. So, cool stuff. The solver's kind of difficult to like directly copy in these scenarios because we see like queen-5 suited betting big, whereas 8-5 suited is betting small. Hands appear pretty similar, but turns out they are a little bit different. Anyway, in this scenario, Doug Polk's going to be betting frequently, and it looks like he does use the roughly GTO strategy of betting big. Back around to Daniel Negreanu. What do you think you should do? Well, why don't you tell me? Why don't you pause the video before I show you what Negreanu does? I want you to type in the comment section below what you would do in this spot. Would you fold? Probably don't want to do that. Would you call? Would you raise to, let's say, $15,000? Or would you rip it all in? In the comment section below, type what you would do. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. All right, did you do it? Good. Going through this active learning process will go a long way to helping you improve your skills. And that is why at PokerCoaching.com, my training site, I have over 1,000 interactive quizzes where I ask you what you would do on every single betting round. And I'm actually having a sale for Poker Coaching right now. You can get a discounted membership right now at PokerCoaching.com/Valentines because it's Valentine's Day and we're all in love, so I'm giving back to all of you. Make sure you get in there and study. All right, this is a spot where I think a lot of people look at this and say, well, I have a draw. I should go all in. And that's what Negreanu does. He rips it all in. But what does the solver say? Solver says, oh, no. Pocket fours is a very clear marginal made hand that opts to call. And in fact, right here, the solver only jams with hands that are probably best, but susceptible to being outdrawn. Sound familiar? It's kind of like what Doug Polk was betting big with, right? And that turns out that is going to be ace-5 suited, pocket sixes, and then a few random ace-highs, ace-5 offsuit as well. And you may say, why are we jamming pocket sixes and ace-5 suited primarily? Well, if we look at Doug Polk's range to bet big in this spot, actually, let's go ahead and look at Doug Polk's calling range. In this scenario, pocket sixes gets a load of protection from all of these hands, right? All of these hands have equity against pocket sixes, and by shoving, you get all of those to fold. Also, pocket sixes and ace-5 suited gets called by some worse hands, right? So you get a lot of protection from hands with equity, and you also get some worse hands to call you. Let's take a look at the other hands that were used as bluffs here. It's going to be mainly a few ace-jack and ace-10. You may say, well, why in the world ace-jack and ace-10? Well, it turns out you get ace-queen and ace-jack to fold some chunk of the time, right? Which is quite nice. You actually do get a few better hands to fold. Even ace-king opts to fold some portion of the time. That said, the raising range is very small, only 4% of hands. But we do see a lot of calling from NEGREANU. And we see this happen very, very frequently. Whenever you are facing a 2/3, 3/4, or big bet in general, you typically do not want to do a whole lot of raising, because whenever your opponent uses that rather big bet size, it implies that they are somewhat polarized, meaning they have either a really good hand, which crushes pocket fours, or they have a hand that has good equity against pocket fours, like even two overcard type hands with a backdoor flush draw has good equity. So pretty neat spot. I think a lot of people probably are going to say in the comment section below to shove, but this is definitely a spot just to call. Back to Doug Polk. Obviously, he's never going to fold this hand. Let's again take a look at what Doug Polk should call with. He should call with any pair, pretty much, right? Is he folding any pair at all? It doesn't look like it. I guess he's folding a king 5 suited, queen 5 suited, jack 5 suited some portion of the time. So he's folding some of the weaker fives. Notice he doesn't really have threes. He actually folds ace 3 suited some portion of the time. I'm kind of surprised to see that. Again, this is assuming NEGREANU's using this strategy, right? So I guess, story makes more sense. It makes sense to fold the ace 3 suited if you're against a whole lot of ace 5 and pocket sixes, right? But in this scenario, Doug Polk's going to call off with a pretty logical range in this scenario, right? When you get jammed here, I think most people realize something like ace king or ace queen or better has to call it off. You may say, why in the world would I call it off with ace king or ace queen? Turns out ace king and ace queen gut shots with two overcards have a lot of equity. I mean, count your outs, right? You have the fours. Normally there are 4 of those. Plus you have the aces and the kings, or the aces and queens, which are usually pretty good. That comes out to something like 10 outs. 10 outs is good for 38, 40-ish% equity, assuming your opponent never has any worse hands. Every once in a while, your opponent's going to surprise you and show up with a random hand like 7-6 suited. Just let's take a look at what NEGREANU should do with 7-6 suited, by the way. If he has 7-6 suited, he should call. But, he's jamming the fours. Maybe he rips it in with the 7-6 suited. Maybe he rips it in with the king 4 suited, Who knows what's actually happening in this scenario. But this is a spot where I think the logical play for Polk is to call it off roughly ace king or ace queen or better. And he's not going to make a mistake in this scenario. So Doug Polk, can't talk today. Doug Polk played this hand pretty close to perfectly. Doug Polk played this hand pretty close to perfectly. That's a tongue twister. Can anyone actually say that? If you can actually say, Doug Polk played his hand pretty perfectly, type it in the chat box below. Congratulations. You are a professional English linguist. Is that the right word? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, board runs out. NEGREANU gets stacked, and they continue playing on. That's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like and subscribe button below. Hope you learned something. Also, make sure you take advantage of the Valentine's Day sale right now at pokercoaching.com/Valentines. Good luck in your games. Have a great, great week. I wish you nothing but the best, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more strategy lessons, pre-flop charts, and interactive quizzes, make sure you get your free membership to pokercoaching.com right now at pokercoaching.com/free. I'll talk to you next time.